This segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Hey everybody, welcome into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. It's hurricane season. Everybody's pretty much well aware of that. And there's an invest in the Gulf. It's 93L invest, and it might be coming our way. It might not be much of anything, but we got to be prepared for it either way. So join us now is the Lafourche Parish President, Mr. Archie Chaisson. Thanks so much, Archie. I know you just got out of a meeting with GOSEF talking about preparing. So, look, this doesn't look like a Cat 5 or anything like that, but it's time to be prepared, whether it's an invest, whether it's tropical storm or Hurricane Dexter. It's time to get ready, and you guys have been, right?
Yeah, no doubt, Harry. It's always good to be with you guys. This is something, I know we've talked about this a lot before. Hurricane season for us isn't just a June 1st date on the calendar. It's something that we constantly prepare for. We're constantly thinking about, still especially in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. And it's weird that we're still talking about that, knocking on the 4-year anniversary date of it. But it is. We start really kind of pounding the message in May and June when hurricane season kicks off that, hey, now's the time to really start to have that game plan. We know things kind of start to heat up. This time of year for us, it's typically mid-October or mid-August to mid-September that things really flare up, and we seem to get those storms that always falls. I like to joke with my dad that we always get a hurricane on his birthday at the end of August, and it's always that time. But look, this is probably going to be a good little trial run for us. All of our public works crews have been working the last couple of days, making sure that the catch basins are clean and outfall canals are clean. We're going to push out some information shortly. Again, just wrapping up that call with GOSEF and the National Weather Service, kind of getting a briefing on what they think is going to happen. And look, this thing's not even off of the Florida coast yet. So they're thinking that'll happen sometime tomorrow. And then we're really going to feel those rain effects on Thursday and Friday. So now's the time we're encouraging residents. Look, I'm probably going to go get back to the house this afternoon and cut my grass, really start to, get ready from the rains of the past few weeks, right? But
right.
Look, if you're putting your garbage out tomorrow, or especially if you're putting it out tomorrow night into Thursday or Thursday night into Friday, make sure you pick up those garbage cans after the garbage passes. Make sure you're picking up those loose items. Probably not going to be a whole bunch of wind, but you get a severe thunderstorm that's dropping some rain. There's probably going to be some gusts, so make sure you're picking all that stuff up. You don't want to be the guy that floods your neighbor's house because you forgot to pick up the basketball and it floated into a culvert or a catch basin and starved the system, right? If you do need some sandbags, like I said, we're fixing to push some information out about so sandbags locations. It's those 7 or 8 typical locations we have in Thibodeau, in Bayou Buff, and in the Choctaw, at the Chag Bay Fairgrounds, the field office, the 6 field office locations we have, as well as the Oak Ridge Park and the Bayou Blue recreation sites. So that'll open up at 1 o'clock tomorrow for those self-fill bags in case you need any bags. And also at 1 o'clock, if you're in that elderly or disabled category, you can go to one of the 6 field offices and they'll load 25 pre-filled bags for you in your car or your truck. So you can take it back home and put it on your doors or whatever you may be concerned about. That's probably the easiest, best way if you think you're going to need those. Really start to think about that tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night when maybe you get off of work, knowing that the heavier rains are going to come Thursday and Friday. And then by Sunday, we should see a reduction in that. We're looking at 8 to 10 inches of rain probably over the course of the next 4 or 5 days. Again, not anything that we can't handle over that long duration of time. It's just going to be those extreme showers where we can get a couple inches at a time that you may see some street flooding or something like that as the pumps work to better keep up. Our pumpers have been out, our field office crews have been out, making sure that we're dropping those canal levels to those safe levels that we do in coordination with the North Lafourche Levee District and South Lafourche Levee Districts, making sure it's as low as we can for levee stability, but also giving us the room to be able to fill those retention ponds up and pump that water out as the rains do start to fall. So again, probably just really going to be a good trial run for us, but it's something that'll give you a little bit of a game plan test to make sure that you have everything put together.
Yeah, when we're talking rain, and you're also saying, yeah, we probably need to cut the grass. Make sure we don't throw the grass in to get into the culverts either. We can do our best as citizens to kind of clean those things out ourselves. Don't just kind of wait on government to come do those kind of things for you. Make sure there's no trash, as you said, no basketballs, those kind of things that might cause a problem, because that's going to be the thing, right? We're going to get rain for sure. So we it's not going to be a big wind event, but it could be a water event, particularly if your drains aren't clean. Does that make a difference, like at the first time of the year where maybe everything's not cleaned out? I don't know. Is that seasonal, the way that happens?
No, we get into these summer situations where, grass got a little tall in the ditch and you may have not cut it for a while, and you're going to try to cut it before the rain comes, and you may get some grass stuck in a culvert or on the top of a grading for a catch basin. The rain starts to flow and you get some mulch that washes out of your flower beds and gets stuck on a catch basin top or something like that. Those are the things we look for during the event, right? But those are things you can look for now. Look, it's rained every day probably the last 3 weeks. So some of that stuff has floated out into the system anyway. So just check your surroundings. Check on your neighbors, especially if they're elderly or have some sort of special needs. Make sure you're checking on your community and your neighborhood and your neighbors as well, and just helping out. We're going to get to as much stuff over the course of the next couple of days as we can. When the bulk of that rain hits, Thursday into Friday, we're still going to have public works crews out there driving around dealing with hot spots or things that may get blocked or stuck in a culvert or a catch basin or what the case may be. The other thing to think about too, Harry, is look, I know this is probably not going to be a huge wind event, but there's going to be a ton of rain, right? Probably going to be an accident or two on the highway. So be careful while you're driving around if you're having to get around for work or to check on family or friends. And make sure you have some type of battery backup in case somebody does hit a telephone pole, right, as they slide off the road and power goes out.
Sure.
That you have a way to continue to keep up with social media sources or news like you guys, and really looking at what's going on during the event.
Well, appreciate it. We know you guys are ready, and we're all ready, right? We can handle this, and just everybody do their part, and we'll get through it. And appreciate it. You guys are definitely ready. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, Archie.
Thanks, Harry.
All right, we'll be back with more Bite Time right after this.
This segment was brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.